So the Flash seemingly introduced a storyline, several episodes in, where it turns out Sweet Nora, or better known as the Speed Force, God, that is so stupid, was actually a malevolent force. Oh my, she murders this woman at the end of the last episode. So we come back and Speed Force says, yeah, the other forces have got to go, and I'm using you, Barry, to bring them to me or some such. And Barry's like, no, I'm not helping you. And then Speed Force, freaks out and says, you don't have a choice, and then it disappears, whatever. And Barry says, oh, there's only one thing I can do. I've got to undo time again and stop the other forces from being created. All of a sudden, Iris has got a problem with it because, I don't know. Because he's saying if we don't do anything, Speed Force will kill them all. Iris says, no, we'll talk her out of it. Because you gotta treat her like a person and get in touch with her feelings. Whoa, 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 feelings. And Barry's like, no, I gotta go back in time and undo it. So Cisco's talking to his girlfriend. Carlos Valdez, he's leaving the show, so that's it for Cisco. And I think the deal was already set where, he's doing a show here and there and wasn't really regular anymore. And then, of course, Kavanaugh, he comes back for this episode, which is, it's called Timeless Wells, because remember, this is the original Harrison Wells that none of them ever really knew, and that he's been spending time in a bubble, reliving his, 4 years he spent with his wife or something like that before she was killed. So he just lives in that loop over and over, but Barry needed his help to do the time travel trick, so, and because I don't know why they didn't just say that Harrison is like the Time Force. Because he can just travel through time. He beams in and out. It doesn't matter. So, it's just, they're not even trying to explain anything anymore. They put up all the trappings like they did these equations and whatnot, but it's just a bunch of BS. So the idea is they're going to collect the particles, but then what's his name? The guy from the 90s episode that he's the still force. So he can stop time, and all that. And he's all angry and mad, and he likes being who he is, and he doesn't want to lose the power. So it's like, well, what is Barry doesn't have the right to do it. Yet he's just as evil as in the rest of them. I mean, the only good one appears to have been the Alexa. Yeah, it's, I don't know, we lost Alexa. Well, just try OK Google. So Alexa seemed to be the only one that was, more or less innocent. She didn't really have control over the strength force. So because, she would Hulk out, And then Psych, well, he's just a complete, psychopathic freak, who likes to torture people with their own fears. So I don't really see why you want to save any of them. But that's what they do. Barry goes back in time. He tries to undo it, and he does, but for no explanation whatsoever. It doesn't kill them in the past. It kills them in the present, which is just ridiculous. And then they even go to the point of saying that these creations of the other forces are like Barry's children. And he and Iris gave birth to these children. It's so bad. And they even talk about it. They drag poor Joe out to have a little conversation because they don't have enough money to actually make a superhero show anymore, I guess. I don't know. And of course, yeah, I'm sure lockdown rules caused this. But I mean, the last season was just as bad. And that's, a lot of that was done before COVID and all that, so that's not much of an excuse. So, of course, at the last minute, Barry says, wait a minute, of course, Iris was right. Because, the woman's always right. So they go back, and she's like, "Oh, I was wrong too because I went looking for Nora, but I found Psych instead." And he, attacked her and the other girls who can barely act. And they went to the house. It was Barry's childhood home, and there's this old car sitting out there. And it's like, "Oh, is that a clue to something?" Nah, it was just there. Well, maybe they'll revisit it, but it doesn't matter. Of course, you know what? The Flash, along with Supergirl and Batwoman, even trends on Twitter. So there you go. It's got to be the most popular show on television, right? All of them should be. Yeah. Well, that should tell you something about what Twitterverse is good for. Absolutely nothing. And yet, major studios appear to be beholden to them. Twitterverse declared that new Star Wars show, which I'm not even bothering to watch because I'm still mad at Star Wars, but Twitterverse said it was racist because of the skin tones of the characters or whatever. So Disney says, "Don't worry, we're going to fix that." And nobody really cared. It's just Twitterverse. But of course, again, Twitterverse is right. Then I guess The Flash is the most popular show in the universe. Yeah. Anyway, if you didn't watch it, again, you didn't miss anything. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr. Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness. So many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.